Welcome to CarTorque with Matty J, another Tuesday night. More car-related topics as we do every Tuesday night in the studio with...
Alan.
Big Riz.
I'm Rupert. Shamelessly stole Luca's joke.
I was just going to say Mr. Murdoch.
Mr. Yes.
I'm Rupert Murdoch, and this is my skybox. Simpsons joke.
Oi.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oh, jeez. Luke's...
Oh, that episode hasn't gone up yet.
No, it hasn't,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So if you listen to
It's
this
not going to
live,
make sense.
you're probably not going
It's a callback to episode that hasn't.
to... But...
This is why you have to watch live on Facebook so you understand the joke.
Exactly right, on our CarTorque Facebook page. It's TORQUE. What's happening, gents?
Living the life, Struggle Street.
Struggle Street. James said you wanted to jump off a bridge just before.
Yeah, well, the budget's supposed to come out in half an hour.
Don't worry, you're going to get like an extra $10 a week or something.
Oh, I'm rich. And
Yeah.
hey,
every day I'm hustling.
if I'm if I get $10 more, then I'll be rich, and then if I'm rich, I'll get even more tax cuts because that's the only place they seem to cut tax.
Exactly, you got to move up in the world.
What I heard is if you make up, you can make up to 87 grand now. This is I heard this on the radio this morning. Apparently, like your tax is a bit less, but the government's going to find another way to screw you. Like,
Well, the biggest thing is I think that as car enthusiasts, obviously on CarTorque, there's nobody that's backing what we want.
Yeah.
Ricky Muir used to do that. The motoring enthusiast
I voted
party.
for Ricky Muir.
So did I.
Ricky Muir was the only one that was actually backing us.
Maddie,
He
you should run.
Yeah, that's right.
You're
know
a
what?
respectable teacher.
I am actually, aren't I?
You wear a Ned Flanders sweater. You could be a
senator? You
politician.
get paid $300 grand a year
To do
to
nothing.
nothing. Are you act like children inside of a
You know what?
parliament?
Let's make the CarTorque party. I'm serious. Let's do this.
Matty
Do
J.
we need much money to run?
I don't know.
We're looking for sponsors. We're looking at you.
Matty J 2020.
Penrite Oil.
Right. Yeah, well, super cheap autos.
Well,
We're looking for sponsors at the moment. Just car insurance. Everybody, Mighty Car Mods. That's who helped them get started.
Cheryl?
I reckon. Yeah, that's right. And Armor Guard.
oh my god, yes, because I'll need some protection. As I'll be a high end man now. Honestly, though, this would be interesting because I'd be the only real person since Ricky Muir to be in there because everyone else is just in. I know they're our government, but quite frankly, they're morons.
When your prime minister is an ex-investment banker,
Yeah.
how are you expecting the welfare of the nation?
Well, the thing is, though, it's the New Zealand Prime Minister was a very successful businessman. The previous one, not the current one. And he never took any salary from the government. When he was in power, when he was in office, he never took a single dime out of the New Zealand government's coffers while he was during the whole period of time.
You're kidding? I didn't know.
Yeah, so that's the sort of level of, I guess, ethics and integrity he had. And when he stepped down, he chose to step down, not because there was any pressure or anything. One day he just says, I'm no longer going to be around, and I'm just going
I want to move
on.
to New Zealand.
Well, then new prime ministers.
Citizenship, sorry, bro.
Sweet as, bro. Sweet as. Well, the new prime minister of New Zealand, she's like everyone's loving her. She went to I think a United Nations thing, and she wore a traditional Maori. Thing and
right.
stuff. Really respecting the culture and stuff, which is really really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. Speaking of politics, on my way in, just before the tunnel, which we experienced a couple of weeks ago, there's one of those electronic billboards on top of a bridge, and I saw something which I didn't think I was going to see. There was a yellow background, and it's got in massive writing. It says "Make Australia Great," and it's
was there a picture of Trump on
One
there?
Nation.
No,
One nation.
Clive Palmer.
Oh my!
And
God.
I'm like,
back.
where the hell is he coming back from?
He's back.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but that's what I saw.
Oh,
and
because
then
of the crocodiles.
Oh,
Did you see that?
nah.
They asked him a question. I can't remember what it was about. It was about racism or something. And he's like, "Oh, the real problem is the crocodile deaths that are occurring."
No,
he goes completely off the
That
rails.
wasn't Clive Palmer. That was
Oh, is that someone else?
that's the other guy. What's his name?
Bob Catter.
Bob Catter,
Oh,
that's
that's
it.
what I'm thinking of.
Apologies to Clive Palmer. If you wish to sponsor the show, please.
The true hustle, the
Man's
real
always getting
business
that hustle.
opportunity.
Man's a billionaire. We're trying to.
He makes a dollar. He makes a dollar. We make a dime. Like, you know, that's why we need to get on radio airtime to get that hustle out
The
there.
real hustle.
No, honestly, let's start the CarTorque car party, and I'll run for the Senate and work my way up.
Look, if somebody who supposedly owns a fish and chip shop can start running as a racist leader, I think not that I'm making any claims. I think we've got a chance. we could rally up some motoring enthusiasts.
I'm sure we could.
Ricky Muir certainly did.
No,
and,
we sure did.
I don't know. There were any motoring enthusiasts in Gippsland, but he's managed to rally up some people.
They go off-roading. Right?
Yeah.
That's right. They go off-roading and they use guns, which is not exactly what I support. But anyway,
That's like hunting, fishing party territory.
yeah, I know it's
Borderline KKK.
borderline KKK. Jeez, I don't even know what we're even talking about tonight. This has been an interesting case.
This is politics night on CarTorque.
Yeah. Well, if I was to run for like senator, I'd probably say, I'd push for like, I mean, none of the things that I'd say would get through, just because I don't have any money, and to the fact that everyone else in the world, in Parliament, they just wouldn't care. But I'd push for like 130 kilometers per hour speed limits on the Hume, because it's a straight road. Like, you'd be an idiot to go wrong there. It does happen. I'd be pushing for stronger, harder tests to get your license. But for the fact that just there's so many distractions, and if you look how many people are on the roads now, guaranteed every time you get on the road, you will see someone do something completely stupid. So, I'd be pushing for stringent tests in the form of get rid of the stupid hazards test and actually get like a test where you actually put in situations.
Yeah, and I think in terms of, as you were saying, distractions on the road, start the punishment of hammer to the phone if you caught using it on the road.
I do like that.
Equip all police officers with a hammer. Bam, there you go. And that's going to hit people hard.
I mean, it's more than your $400 Ford American fine. It's $1,000.
Well, Senator Matty, what are we doing about the luxury car tax?
Oh, also,
Scrapped.
Getting rid of that.
Scrapped?
Completely scrapped.
What about imports? Like, can we
Let him in.
let them in?
Well, as we said previously on the show, why should we pay the same? Why should we pay double or almost? If we're talking like for a Range Rover, $250,000 for a Vogue, when they're £60,000 in the UK.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous for the exact same car. It is absolutely ridiculous, and I think that is. I'm sounding like a politician.
Yeah, he's already there, man.
I'm in the zone, gents.
Exactly.
He's looking out for the families. Families that don't make half
I have
$1 million
a dream.
but still want that Range Rover.
Exactly right. I have a dream.
That one day,
Everyone can
every
afford a Range
car
Rover.
will be the white cars and the black cars will be driving together.
So, just to put it into context, that quote was also used in Rush Hour 2.
Oh yes, it was.
And I think Alan still hasn't seen it.
No.
What? He has not seen. You haven't seen the first one either, have you?
What?
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk out.
Dude,
I mean, look,
it's
this is the same moment when I said that I've never seen a Fast and Furious.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's worse.
That is worse
Yeah.
because you're in
I
a car
should
show.
walk out now.
You should
Because this is car talk.
So you gotta put the shade on Riz. That's you just burned yourself, man. Took the pressure
But I
off.
have played the Fast and Furious game
yes.
on Game
No
Boy
one
Advance.
played the game.
That's like saying you've seen the Need for Speed movie.
Yeah,
but never
I haven't played the game. I've seen them.
Look, we're gonna get to our first break tonight. We're gonna get to a song by. Do you guys remember Scribe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
New Zealand.
No.
New Zealand represent.
Not many.
If
If
any.
any.
Is that what we're playing?
No, we're playing "Stop the Music," which I think
yeah?
is very.
It is a pretty good
it's
song.
a pretty good track. Very underrated track.
See,
by,
New Zealand's where it's at.
dude. I mean, I didn't even try to make that connection tonight, but we're making it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've got like two. Are you still a New Zealand citizen, Riz? Or
Depends on who's listening.
okay, okay. Well,
If it's the feds, no.
yeah,
Fair dinkum Aussie
yeah,
here.
it's Australia.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after this. You're back on Car Talk with Manny J. That was Scribe with Stop the Music. Really, really cool track. His two albums were really, really good. The poor bloke just. Second album didn't sell. You know what? It was around at the time when people were like pirating really, really hard,
Yeah.
and no one bought it because people were just downloading it. So he's like, cause he didn't obviously. He only it came off one good album. That one didn't sell because everyone stole it. So
Plus, the economy wasn't doing too well, so they couldn't afford to buy the album anyway.
So
a lot of people, a lot of the younger people over there.
Yeah, it was a big struggle around that
Yeah.
time. We were still in high school at that stage, James and Alan. The big Riz was heading to uni at that time.
Was I?
Old
Yeah.
man Riz.
Old man
No,
Riz.
when was this? No, I'm... well, how old are you guys?
What? We're 26.
Huh?
We're 26. How old are
So
you?
I'm 45.
Yeah.
27, man. What the fuck?
Yeah. Dude, you would have been because that came out in when we were in probably year 12.
Yeah, year 12, 11,
so, yeah.
year 12. Yeah.
But,
Wait. Now I'm confused. How old are you, Riz? Just for the
27.
okay, yeah.
What?
No, because you don't look much older than us. You look about the same age as us.
he looks
which-
about the same age as
yeah.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, so why did you guys presume that I was older?
I was somehow assuming you were like the way Matt said it, that you were like 29 or 30 or something. I was gonna say you don't look 30, that's for sure.
Dude, we got to do the from Bad Boys 2. Mother, you look.
Oh, what's that? I was thinking of DMX.
Which one?
It's Mother Start Up. Oh, I forgot the name of the song.
We'll have to come back to that. Look, I've got some plans. Now, we haven't spoken about the Benzo too much on the show as of recently, but I really want to get this show car coming. Not putting it for shows, but for the CarTorque show. Now, as you guys know, if you're regular listening, I've got my W124 260E, which is on Club Reg, absolute beast of a car. Not really. That SLC was nice, which he's showing us now. We had the V8 too. Mine's just a straight 6. Now, it's very extremely slow. It doesn't really move, but mechanically it's pretty sorted now. Bodywork looks hack. I really want to do like a sleeper build, have it looking like absolute crap on the outside, which it kind of does, but dropping a 4-litre barrel in it. And I know we give the barrel a lot of love on the show, but for good reason. So I'm thinking ZF transmission 6-speed.
Yep.
FG power plant out of a Rect XO6 turbo.
So that'd be what? 200 kilowatts? Exas, because it was 190 the barra.
But the turbo.
The turbo, so it'd be like
So we're talking about
205.
500 kilowatts.
Well, see, I don't want to go ham too quickly. I just want to drop it in, make it work, and then I want to build it up from there. Because remember, it is an old car, and I don't want it to I don't want to die. So, I had a look underneath when I was up on the hoist last time, and where it's got its steering box, it's like right towards the back. So, the engine space has got a lot of space in there. Like it's got a straight 6 in there already. So I reckon if I could get this, and the straight 6 in the Merc it's quite long, but it's not very tall. It's just very long and not very wide. So, I mean, they fit V8s in the W124s for like the Hammer and stuff. So it could be done, and I reckon it can be done. I'm thinking if I can get this happening, just put some big brakes on it, get some like crappy mono blocks that are like gutter ash and just stick them on. I want to make a full rat spec, but like make it go good. I still want the aircon to work. I want all the functionality of the car to work, and I want it to drive as smooth as it does, just with a crap load of power and the reliability, knowing that I actually will start and keep going.
Well, I truly believe in that vision there, Senator Matty.
Oh, thank you.
No, but that sounds really cool. That sounds really, really cool. I think, I mean, Barras, is that going to be from a wrecker or?
Well, yeah, I'm
what do you reckon?
Typhoon.
I was just going to say, like, Typhoon does need a new clutch. I reckon we don't worry about that. We just chuck it in and then
just savage the engine. Well, look, considering used second-hand Barras that you can get a wrecker turbo engine for under $1,000 with a
really,
and transmission you probably together with a loom you'd be looking at under $2,000 for everything.
Wow, they're
cheap. They're cheap. So
that's cheap, yeah.
Obviously, you're probably not looking at another $1,000 for Haltech to run it.
Yeah.
And to get it fitted. So
yeah. So no, it sounds like a really cool project. I reckon we just need to scope it out and figure out what other people have done with. Not Barra, but what other engines they've been able to squeeze in.
Yeah.
And then we figure out from the dimensions of that and what sort of power they've been able to get out.
Because a lot of people have been putting 2Js in them.
Yeah, okay.
So...
Well, that's, of course, 2Js easy. That's straight 6.
Yeah, straight 6. So...
Get those overnight parts from Japan.
Oh,
Make it into a 10-second car.
You know, it's I've got the vision of Jesse ordering parts in the back of my head.
You're going to spray it orange?
sprayed orange, and have like a god arm at the side on decals. And then pull up next to a Ferrari and say smoke him. And what's the retail on one of those? No, I honestly want to make it like the best sleeper. Like I want to have fat wheels at the back, but like I want it to look crap though. So like when I pull up to next to like a Jeep SRT, and I want to be able to beat it.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a really, really cool project. It's obviously a lot of planning surrounding that.
It's a lot of engineering to go into it as well.
Yeah. So I reckon any sponsors listening, anybody that specialises in modifications, turbos, Turbo Yoda, if you're listening, just come down.
And Dose Vader.
Yeah, exactly. Just come on down and work with Senator Matty.
Yeah, it'll be an awesome kind of gig to do. Obviously, it's probably going to blow up the diff straight away, so I'm going to have to. It's going to need a drive lines, to be all strengthened. But as a little fun task, and that'll kind of get the show some more recognition. I reckon it'll be a really
good little project. Yeah,
cool project. Now, I don't know if you guys heard about Tesla, but people reckon Tesla's going to be done within the next month.
What?
Like they reckon they're that far bankrupt. Like they're in a lot of trouble.
I knew it would happen.
But yeah, it's
Alan was
there's only so much,
Alan prayed for it.
There's only so much reptilian money you can print.
He's got the insights that we don't have.
He's all up in that Tesla stuff. He knows what he's talking about.
But just what is it? The Model 3 now?
Yeah, the Model 3 that's being produced, that's not meeting the production schedules.
Like
at all.
Yeah, too many delays and stuff. Like the pre-orders were pretty ambitious, I felt. Like the amount
but they got a lot of money. They got over so many million in deposits. I believe.
Yeah. But like their ability to obviously deliver,
fulfill that. And look, at the end of the day, you got to be ambitious with that sort of stuff. But having said that, it's like now they've got a problem where they can't meet production. I believe last week or the week before they shut down their factories for planned maintenance.
Wow.
Which is the right. I know they're under pressure, but it's the right thing to do. That shows that Elon and these guys know what they're doing, because having run manufacturing facilities before, if you don't shut them down when they need to be shut down for repair maintenance, you won't get very far in production post that. So the biggest issue that they've got, and why Tesla's at the stage that they're at, is because of over-automation.
Okay.
So they automated a lot of things that GM and these companies tried with in 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and they thought they could do it a lot better. And obviously, not having the knowledge, they've over-automated. And
not
then
having Elon Musk.
Yeah, well, that's right. So having said that, I don't think they're going to go bankrupt. I think they've got too much of a backing. Most people in the Western world, if they don't know about electric cars or anything like that, they still have heard of Tesla.
Yeah.
Which means that there's enough money out there. And I know he's already talking about doing deals in China and opening up plants there and stuff.
That as well.
So that's happening.
Did they open the battery plant here? Or am I thinking of something else?
You're thinking about South Australia and the battery bank they put in there.
Yeah.
So they put the world's largest battery bank in South Australia.
Can I cash in my batteries there? Or?
No. They're for the power generation.
Ah, yeah.
So, but you know what?
It's the biggest Tesla Powerwall you've ever seen.
Well, it is, and they reckon it was the biggest one worldwide, right? And he said that he told the South Australia Premier that if he couldn't do it in under 100 days, he could have the money back. They could have the money back, something, and he delivered under 100 days.
Jeez, there you go.
I don't know how many megawatts it is, but it's huge. So they delivered it, they shipped it, they got it done. He actually flew down here.
Elon
Flew down and had a meeting with the Premier at that time, Joe Weatherall or whatever his name was, Jay Weatherall. Anyway, I think Tesla has a lot of backing. There is so much money out of China that's being flooded into Chinese startups. Why wouldn't they invest into an established behemoth that Tesla is? So and Toyota's got money in Tesla as well, so Toyota's not going to let it down.
This is what's getting me. Everyone's like, oh, they're pretty much done. They can't sustain this. I'm like, they got so much backing. They got people wanting to buy the cars. Surely, if they're producing cars and people are paying for it, how the hell can a company go bankrupt?
That's right.
It makes no sense.
Well, their costs might be very high, but then at the same time, that's what investors need to. The investors should have known that cost of production until you ramp up to where you need to be is going to be difficult, and they would have believed that over automation, whether it was going to work or not, they invested in it, so they've got to back it because otherwise everybody's losing money. And I think the federal government in the states as well, they won't let it crash. It will be too much of a slap in the face for them, especially for Trump.
For Murica.
For who?
Murica.
Who's that?
Murica. America.
Oh,
It's a redneck way of saying it.
Murica.
So yeah, that's my sort of stance, and yeah, we'll see.
Well, but you showed me just before they're potentially bringing in a new, like a smaller Model X, right?
Model Y.
Model Y. Okay.
So that's like a compact SUV. So it's smaller than Model X and
SUVs.
But and then I think they also said by 2020 they've got some ride sharing thing starting.
Well, that's interesting because that'll really. I mean, well, their cars essentially drive themselves.
Yes.
So they.
Or do they after that fiasco?
Well, see, that was the Uber issue that they had. That was the Volvo.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the car's fault. I don't believe it was just whatever it was.
Have they ceased the suspension on testing?
I don't know.
Because they did shut all kind of automatic car testing down.
But I also heard there's an alternative, or there's another automated car company. I don't know if Google owns it or Google has something to do with it. Waymo, I believe they had another crash last week.
Okay.
So, I mean, who knows what the circumstances were, but having said that, the ride sharing...
The robots are trying to kill us, people.
It's starting already.
It's legit.
It's starting already, so vote for Senator Matty.
Please vote for me. Vote 1, Matty J.
Keeping hands on wheels and, people in jobs. I think that's just like it.
Keeping feet on clutches.
And boost gauges.
And mandatory boost gauges, even if your car's in A.
You just see the vacuum part.
It's just going to go down. But yeah, it's really interesting with Tesla. I mean, they're kind of a phenomenon, aren't they? Like a really. I mean, we speak about a lot about them on this show, but really they have kind of done their own thing and given a middle finger to everyone and said we're going to do it anyway. So no matter what you do. And I personally, I don't want to see them go bankrupt. Like with all this, it'd be a shame because it'd
be a huge setback, not just for Tesla, but for
the world.
All self-driving and electric cars.
Yeah, and I think the collaboration that he's doing with Chinese plants and it's pretty good because it means that he sees it as a global company, not just something that's spruiked out of America.
Yeah. Well, if he wants to advance, he's going to have to go to China. Like it's built, because. They are the powerhouse of everything right now. It's
electric vehicles. They're kicking goals.
Oh yeah.
Like nobody else is at the level where China is at when it comes to those sort of cars. Electric buses. I heard London's put in an order.
Okay.
From a company called BYD, and they're a Chinese electric vehicle automation company, and they've put in an order for buses to be trialled in London, electric buses. There's also proposals for garbage trucks and a whole lot of other things. So at that...
Well, the Tesla Semi?
Tesla Semi as well. We haven't even spoken about this. So I wonder what's going to happen with that. And the Roadster. Yeah. The new Roadster, which people have already put orders on. 10% deposit, I think it was $25,000. Wow. So, yeah, lots happening, but I think I reckon they won't fold.
I mean, they can't, my worry is that they're expanding too big, too quick. And they don't have the facilities to make the cars to demand, so that's why they're going to have to use China as a.
That's right, and there's no money. And I heard the other day $480 billion being poured into the electric vehicle industry in China from China. 480 billion.
That's a lot of money.
And companies like Great Wall and Haval,
LDV,
SIAC Motor Group, which owns LDV, they're investing huge amounts of R&D resources. And from what I heard, that a lot of these R&D people and the engineers now are ex-European car brand engineers. So similar to what the Koreans did.
Similar, especially what Kia did.
Yeah.
They poached the head of, was it Audi? An M Sport, I think.
Well, M Sport, the Hyundai did the one with the M Sport guy. So yeah, there's a lot of that cross-pollination going on. So I think the rate at which the development of these cars and how quickly they will come to market being good cars and it's going to increase. So what we're going to see in the next 5 years, like I'm spotting a lot of Havels going around now.
Spotting a lot of LDVs.
Yeah.
I was at work the other day and I was doing a fitment on a person's car, and it was a brand new LDV pickup. Like 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
I don't know what the exact model was called, but it's the same as the like a Ranger size. It's a good looking car. And from what I've heard, people are really buying them and liking them. Like they haven't got the name out there yet. What is that?
That's an MG.
Oh, but they're made in China, the MGs.
Yeah, so that's also owned by SIAC Motor Group, which also owns LDV.
Okay, right.
So they in Australia come with a 6-year warranty.
They do.
They've got, I think, 2 dealerships in the country, but I saw the first one there, and yeah,
that isn't a bad looking car.
It's not a bad looking car for 24 grand. You know, it's not a bad looking car if you look at it from the side.
It's not, and also being an MG, even though it is now made in China, it's also a good way kind of getting over that. We won't call it racism because I know I love playing around with that, but we'll call it at least fear of kind of a foreign market that hasn't been tested fully.
Yeah.
Because you can just be like, oh, it's an MG, you know.
Well, but the thing is, I think we have to get over that because we don't have any local manufacturing here anymore. So we're gonna have to buy the cars. And China, like for example, if you look at a Great Wall from like let's say 6 years ago to like the current cars now,
huge.
They are Haval now. Haval has a 5-star safety rating there.
Yeah, but looking at their cars on the road,
Mustang can't even do that.
Yeah, looking at their cars on the road now, they're actually pretty good looking cars.
Yeah, good looking cars.
And you think, well, if they've been able to achieve that in such a short period of time, and I think the Sydney to Hobart, is that the sailing race?
Yep. Yeah.
They've had I think LDV was sponsoring that. So there's a lot of money going around, and these guys I reckon are gonna be big players in the next 5. If they come out with an electric car that is gonna be, let's say, 35,000 Australian dollars.
Yeah. It
would go nuts. So it doesn't. I think that's a place where they can compete in, and they will.
That's why we're going to extend that hand. If any Chinese automotive manufacturers would like to, you know,
give us the old sponsor.
That's
let's test drive some cars and.
Yeah, so we welcome that. Ni hao ma.
Yeah. What are they saying in Russia at the end? Shishini?
Shishini, which is thank you. Yeah. So, quickly moving on from that, I had a really interesting encounter on late last week. So I'm based out of a innovation hub, and BMW's head office is just around the corner.
Yeah.
And it's a little cul-de-sac. And what I ended up seeing was these popped up.
John Cooper Works?
3 Mini Cooper S's.
Yeah. Wow.
And they're the 2019 model cars.
Ones, yeah.
And they were being tested.
Oh, right.
And they've got a DSG transmission. And so I was talking to the chief tester. There were 3 of them there.
Yeah. All DSGs?
All DSGs.
Yeah.
And they reckon it's the quickest thing they've seen. Like it's a lot quicker than the old ZF transmission that they had. Here's one sort of launching. And they're pretty quick. They're pretty quick cars for, you know, what.
But he moves.
And that's why, like, I was actually pretty surprised at, you know, what DSG can do in these smaller cars. Yeah. And they said the last one was a ZF.
Yeah.
This is quicker, but they were pretty impressed with the cars themselves. So Mini is releasing these cars into the country. I don't know how many they will sell, but they look cool and they sound cooler. And the infotainment system inside is the iDrive from the BMWs.
Ah, right. Well, the iDrive is pretty good, actually.
iDrive is very good, but apparently the Mercedes, the new A-Class, the infotainment system that they've got in there has trumped the iDrive in terms of its usability.
Wow, okay.
So, yeah.
I really want to go to a Mercedes dealership when that drops because there's big raps for it, and they reckon this is going to be the car that's going to essentially kill the competition. So.
A lot of people are saying a lot of good things about it, and I think it's probably going to be launched around July, August.
So I definitely, Mercedes, if you're listening, give us one to test drive, and we will happily review it.
Or just sponsor the show
and sponsor my Barra swapped Merc.
Or if you could like give us some kind of AMG engine, a V8 or something.
Hey, I'd be down for that.
That's right, because that's what we're doing.
Put that in my Rexy and just
put it in Rex.
And we'll do the boxer swap into the Merc.
Look, we're going to get to the next break. We'll be right back after this. Back on CarTorque with Matty J. Still talking about minis, but the previous mini, though, with the Mini Cooper S with the turbo, that same engine came in the Peugeot GTI 307 GTI. It was the 1.6 turbo.
Really? Why Mini and Peugeot? How are they connected?
Just engine share, but that last one had quite a few timing chain issues. They used to stretch it. And there was a big lawsuit in the States, apparently, about them. Like, they're not happy.
Well, I don't know who buys a Mini, though. Like, I don't even know why they... I mean, I don't know why
'cause
they
they're cool.
exist in Australia.
It's because they're cool and they sell.
Yeah.
They were big a few years back, but now I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see too many around, and like these ones, they look really, really cool. Like they look awesome in person. They're tiny, but it's like I would have that over a BMW 1 Series.
Oh, I would too, but I would have a lot of cars over a Mini these days.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I really like the original Mini Cooper S's when they came back out.
Yeah.
With the supercharged engine, I still would buy one, but I reckon they're too big. And
Yeah, they're not mini anymore.
And they're too. I mean, there's too many options for them now. Like there's SUV crossover ones. I'm just like,
Oh, yeah, and this
Countryman.
God, gee. I'm just like, what's the point? Like, you know, the whole point of a Mini was for it to be small, compact, and fun to drive.
It's in the name.
Is it?
well, and that's
They
the
don't
thing.
seem to know that though.
Well, I don't know if BMW's actually done the right thing or the wrong thing, but I know a lot of car companies are doing this cross-platform thing where, you know, they develop something for one particular brand and then they use it across the rest of them.
Ford, Mazda, and Volvo do that all the time.
Yeah, but the thing you've got is you're losing the heritage of a brand, and that's why with the MG that we just saw, you know, it used to be British, used to be all of that
Unreliable.
stuff. Well, unreliable, and like many British things from that era.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
But
now...
they had a charm about them.
That's right. And same thing with Mini. Mini had a charm. Mr. Bean used to drive one and, you know, all that sort of stuff. But,
There's the reason why I want an original Mini.
well, we did see one. Remember? We did see one at the auctions at
It was
Shannon's.
a lovely one too.
And it was, I think that sold for 14
I mean,
It's a lot of money.
it's a lot of money
for a Mini
for
car.
a Mini car. But having said that, that's what they're worth. There's not they're
rare.
They are getting rare now. If you live in the UK, they'll be probably like, "What do you mean rare? We got it for £20 here."
Yes.
But yeah, I'll tell you a funny story about Mini. At my mum's work, they had a Mini Cooper. It was just a standard Cooper, the newer one, like 2003 or something, and it needed some parts. So my mum didn't know that Mini was BMW at the time. This is when she first learned about it, and so she called up Mini. She's like, "Oh, I've got a 2001." The guy pretty much went off. Like he's like, "That's not a Mini, that's a BMW. We deal with the original proper Minis here." Just like Mum's like, "Okay, I'm sorry for calling you guys." And yeah, called BMW and like, "Oh yeah, we've got the parts here." But yeah, it's like I think they got really offended with by what BMW have done to the original Mini.
Yeah, and look, now you got the Countryman and you got all these other bigger variants, which I don't know why someone would buy them. What would they be used for? Obviously to cart more things, but then still.
And they're expensive to buy and to maintain.
Oh, everything. It's the BMW package, you know.
You actually spend more on that than to service BMWs, from what I've heard.
Yeah, probably because there's more BMWs running around than Minis.
That's exactly right. But really, kind of, it's like a catch-22, I guess. Like you think you're buying a smaller car, but you're not, and you're paying more money for it.
Yeah, I've heard some horror stories myself about Minis, and you know when things go wrong, especially in Australia, given we don't have the part supply of Europe.
I mean, it's with any European car, but like it's just one of those things. If you know where to get them from, you'll be all right. But there's that big issue there. So the new was it the Model Y that Tesla's bringing
Yes.
out? When are they? What's the ETA on that?
They reckon 2019, 2020, so we're talking 1 or 2 years away.
Okay.
So, and that's apparently going to be developed in China. Produced in China.
Yeah.
So
It'd have to be.
Well, to be honest, I don't see them re-engineering a lot of things from the Model X. I mean, get rid of those gullwing doors because they don't work.
Yeah.
If they get rid of them and make them conventional doors, the rest of the car can stay the same because there's not much difference in terms. It's only smaller, right?
Yep.
And the batteries, and we're not talking about changing the whole drive lines and everything because the battery bank's the same. The motors are staying the same. It's just how you control them.
Yep.
That's all. So I don't think it'd be very hard for them to produce that because they've already learned from all the mistakes that they made with Model X and everything else as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I reckon they'll be able to produce it a lot easier. It's just they've got to be careful in what we touched on earlier. A lot of people in China in particular would want that car. And if they're going to take orders like they did for the Model 3, they won't be able to fulfill it.
They won't be able to meet demand.
But then again, they have the production capability in China because I was listening to somebody the other day, and a Great Wall factory in China, they've got a couple of them, and one of them is capable of producing 800,000 vehicles a year.
What?
One factory.
Jeez.
So I mean, they can achieve some great things in China in terms of the ability to get stuff done.
Yeah.
So who knows, man? If they take orders and they can put manpower, because they certainly don't lack manpower,
Yeah, no, not at all.
and energy and everything else is there as well.
Yeah.
If you want it, you tell the government, they'll get it for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's where Tesla may be able to succeed, or they will certainly succeed if they're planning already to move into China. They will build the cars when the customers want them, and they'll get it to the customers.
Yeah, no, definitely. They're on the right path. It's just a bit of a nervous time with them at the moment. That's all.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys hear we've got our fuel reserves are about 20 days from being depleted?
For what?
Fuel reserves
reserves.
in the country or in the world?
Well, that's what happens when you no longer refine anything in the country.
That's what happens when you mine the country and then export everything, and we don't see any what do you call it?
Any
money
return
back
from
from
that.
any return. Yeah.
And there's no reserves, because WA, not talking about oil, but gas, WA has
We
got...
sell to China for cheap.
Huh?
We sell to China for cheap.
Yeah, that's right. But WA, for gas in particular, they've got a reserve.
Okay.
So they say, I think, 5% of everything that's produced
Apparently, there's
is for
massive untapped natural gas reserves in
middle of Australia.
There's that they haven't even looked at yet.
Well,
huge.
There's a lot of gas reserves up in Queensland, and that's where a lot of the big oil companies have spent, including Origin, has spent nearly $50-60 billion in the last 7-8 years,
Wow.
building all these huge LNG plants and stuff. So there's no shortage of gas. But oil, I still don't think there's a shortage of oil, but we don't refine much in the country anymore. In Brisbane, they shut down BP had a big refinery up there. They shut that down. The only thing that refinery is refining now is jet fuel, because they have a contract with Brisbane Airport.
Okay.
But apart from that, Exxon in Altona, I don't think they refine oil or petrol anymore.
Wow.
There's nobody doing petrol in the country.
So this is quite scary, because it was all over the news yesterday and a couple of weeks ago. But I thought it was joking. I saw yesterday. It's like now we're hitting critical 20 days, less than 20 days. Is this a good time?
Are there ships coming with more oil?
I don't know.
'Cause otherwise, E85.
85. Yeah, I was just about to say. Let's get our cars converted to E85. But having said that, then they'll probably jack up the price of E85, because that's what these people do.
That's right. I mean, I still want to know what happened to all the cars that were converted to LPG when the government was giving out that rebate.
Well,
you know, the EL, all of those EL Falcons, and
they're all put in gas. But you could also buy a factory gas car and you got a rebate for it too.
yeah, because
The Falcon E-gas.
exactly, and they produce more power than the normal Barra.
The LPIs do.
From what LPIs.
Yeah,
that's
the
one.
later ones. Yeah, but the early E-gas had a bit less, because they used
They use the conventional Venturi system,
They did.
which absolutely terrible. The converter itself looks like horse crap.
Oh yeah.
But the new ones with the liquid phase injection,
Yeah.
that was some pretty smart technology.
Yeah.
They're actually getting better economy out of that than like a Corolla and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's crazy.
But speaking of economies, and I
And
guess
more
we're
power,
talking
too.
about fuel, Camry hybrids. I mean, I know Camrys are not the most exciting car, but the new ones, I don't know. I want to test drive the new one.
You know, the new Camry's a good-looking car.
They look really, and
Toyota's coming back.
I reckon they are. I saw the new RAV4. Did you guys see that?
I have seen it.
It's not bad. I mean, for an SUV, and I know SUVs aren't the big thing, but it's not a bad. And the Corolla looks
Fantastic.
awesome. Looks awesome.
It's the best looking Corolla in years.
Yeah.
And I reckon it's like Albors from Carnival when he did a review in the States about it. It's fantastic, and it's got like it's actually being enthusiastic for a manual drive. So it's got like
I heard.
the blip down, automatically blips the revs for you on your downshift.
Yeah.
And really cool stuff in a Corolla.
Yeah.
And it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
That.
Corollas have gotten so boring, but
Yeah.
I just looked it up. It's pretty dope.
How nice does it look?
Yeah, because there's so many Corollas around, and they're all kind of blur.
But what's gonna? I guess here's a question for you guys then. What's gonna happen if they sell like the Corollas normally sell? 6 months time, we'll think, oh, they'll look the same.
I mean, people buy Corolla. Why?
Yeah. Oh well, it's
Reliability.
reliable car, and it's the perception of it being reliable, not the actual reliability. I mean, it probably is reliable because they never change anything in the car. But I think now they're starting to be bold. But I was watching a review of that out of the States, and the guy said that the infotainment system is really good.
In the Toyota?
It's got in the Corolla.
Yeah.
It's got Apple CarPlay,
Okay.
but no Android Auto.
Why?
Because apparently...
People like Alan with their Macintosh computers.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, Mister. You have a Macintosh as well. Same model.
The one that never works when we go
Get
Facebook Live.
Yeah.
But it's like... But apparently Toyota did a big deal with Amazon
Okay.
to bring Alexa, which is their voice
Yeah,
assistant, into their cars.
You know, I actually got one of those.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it on the... Yeah, and it's... So maybe that's where Toyota's heading. They're going to try and do a big deal with Amazon, roll all that through their cars, because they've got the power. Like, I think last month in Australia, they sold... combined, they sold more cars than number 2 and number 3 combined together.
Toyota?
Yeah.
In Australia?
In Australia.
Wow. I mean, they sell... I mean, the biggest selling cars are Land Cruisers, especially for the bush, like the basic
Yeah.
wind-up window Land Cruisers.
The Hilux.
Hilux, and then they also
The
sell...
Corolla.
I mean, the 3 massive cars which they sell... I mean, they sell fleet Camrys like no tomorrow, but...
And cabs are now, a lot of them are going to hybrid
hybrids,
Camrys.
yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen... you know how you notice them? When you're on the road or if you're walking on the footpath or something, and you hear the electric... But yeah, why I brought that up is so the Camrys, whether it's the new one, or they've even got a Toyota hybrid, the Corolla hybrid,
Yeah.
which I don't know if the new one's going to have.
I mean, they surely they'll have it. I mean, if the previous one would have it, it wouldn't be a model they'd get rid of.
So, fuel economy on those, I've heard, I've seen fuel figures on piece of paper, 3.6 litres for a Camry.
That's unbelievable.
You know, and so what's the real... I mean, does anybody know what the real world fuel economy or fuel figures are for a Camry?
Well,
Like a Camry hybrid?
Well, I recall cab driving to be somewhere around 5 and a bit litres, 5 to 6.
It's not bad.
Which, considering it's cab driving and the way they usually drive, not... Look, all your cabbies drive terribly, I'm sorry. But cutting people off and just, going, turning left from like the most rightmost lane, like across.
Well, that's because
it's what you got to do. It's what you got to do for the job.
Well, it's what you got to do for the job, but it's probably because they've got another job while they're doing that job.
Yeah.
Getting phone calls from a customer service center for someone.
Yeah.
you guys have to take it to the race always.
Riz is allowed to do it. We're not allowed to do it.
But he's allowed to do it.
But generally, I'd argue that if you were driving more economically as your own personal car, you probably reach below that. But I think this was just a caveat that was doing a report for the fact that a lot of them were buying hybrid Camrys.
Yeah.
And he's saying he got around 5 to 6 litres per 100 k's.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what though? I saw the latest top spec Camry with the V6.
Oh.
It's over 300 horsepower.
Oh, man.
They're like 6
We're
and a bit
talking kilowatts in this country.
Killer wasps, as Toyota once said.
Sorry, yes, that is right. Kilo wasps. Do you remember that ad?
Yeah.
It's so good. I mean, 300 horsepower. Sorry, 200 and let's say over 200 kilowatts in a Camry.
212 or something.
Yeah, in a Camry.
Don't they use kilowatts in the States?
No,
Horsepower.
Oh, I didn't know that. Learn something new every day.
That's why the Supra was was a 10-second car.
Okay, so Toyota Camry hybrid, the new one.
What's it quoted as?
Claims
that's with the full
claims that's 4.2 litre per 100 kilometers, 60 litres tank. So I mean, they're still saying claims, but 2.5 litre hybrid produces 131 kilowatts. But looking at the car, I mean,
What about the V6?
you look at the car.
It's a good looking car.
I mean,
yeah.
they've come a long way. Even in that purple that we're looking at the moment, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, coming from the late 2000s, the bubble, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was
The financial crisis. Is that what we're talking about? The bubble?
the bubble.
Or-
Yeah,
No, but that's, I guess that's got to do with the design language and the designers, and they were trying to be conservative and probably cutting costs, because to produce cars like that, it's obviously a bit more expensive. But now that they've seen that the Koreans are kicking them pretty hard with the design language and what they can produce, these guys have to step up, otherwise they will be irrelevant.
The thing is, everyone's got to step because China's coming and they're not going to stop. They're going to take over, and we need to. All the other companies and like us need to be aware that holy crap, this is happening. Like Germany's going to be done in terms of people reckon German engineering is the best. China can in 10 years China will be producing better stuff, and
I've no doubt about that.
We're going to get to our last break, and I'll be right back after this. You're back on Car Talk with Matty J. We've still got 10 minutes left of the show. But yeah, Toyota's really coming back. I mean, they were in a lull for so long. Yeah. The whole 2000s was like, yeah, and until now, really, like I said, the last 15 years, they've been in a massive lull. Yeah. They haven't had any. They didn't have any sports cars. They didn't have anything interesting. They've come back with the 86, which is like a joint venture with Subaru. Actually, there was one of my fellow teachers who just bought one brand new in red. It looks good. Looked inside as an auto. I was like, shook my head. So I was just like, why do you buy a sports?
Where's the stick shift?
No, but it's one of those cars that has to be a manual, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, they're a good looking car. They're returning with Supra. New Camry looks awesome. New Corolla looks sick. Hopefully they bring back an MR2.
Yeah, mid-engine.
I mean, that is what no one's doing at the moment. I don't think anyone's got a mid-engine sports car.
Besides, what was that? What was that Peugeot RC8?
RCF.
Was that a RC?
No,
RC.
Just RC.
What was that? Was that a mid-engine car?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, because that was a funny one. Anyway, so yeah, but nobody's really doing any mid-engine stuff.
Yeah, it's
I mean, nobody's really doing rear apart from Porsche as well. So
yeah, that is true. But I like to see it too because the MR2 had such a cult following. And MR2 were good.
Yeah, it's it'd be interesting to see what they come back. But the thing is, the timing of the releases.
Yeah.
Like it's like bang, bang, bang. It's like, oh, here's the Camry, here's the Corolla, here's the RAV4.
Well, see what they're doing. What they're doing to Ford, what Ford did to everybody else like three years ago with the new Mustang, new GT, and new Focus RS. Like they were just one after the other, new Raptor, like just constantly like bringing out these new cars.
Yeah.
And Toyota's just bringing out. No, we see that we need to change our ways. New Camry, new Corolla. You know.
And so then obviously the best selling car in the country every month on month is obviously the Hilux.
Yeah.
Now
has been for a while.
And exactly, but I don't know what they can really change in that Hilux because people know the Hilux or what the Hilux is. It doesn't really need to stand out that much more.
It's not as good as people think it is. That's the only thing.
Well, it's perception, right? It's like their warranty isn't as good as what the others are offering, but they seem to sell more than anybody else. Last month's sales figures came out, and Toyota's killing it. Yeah. Nissan was out of the top 10.
Yeah, that just shows that just selling SUVs is not going to get you going to make you wear.
And so that also is to do with the product line that they have, which we've spoken about plenty of times before. But yeah, Toyota, bright future, I reckon, in Australia anyway.
They're definitely coming up. I'm just reading about the car now.
I reckon we got to organise a test drive for the V6.
Yeah, I definitely want to drive it. It's got a 3.5 litre 8-speed auto.
Yeah.
Whereas the 2.5s have got a so with the hybrid has got a CVT.
But that would be really.
So have they done away entirely with the Orion and just
because there would be no production.
So they're just going to do the performance part in the higher end Camry.
Yeah. So I mean, Orion was a Camry anyway.
It was.
Yeah, it was. But the engine in the Orion at that time when it was first released in 06 was also being used in Lexus.
Yeah,
so I reckon
it's a 2GR engine.
Yeah, but this thing here, the V6 that they're talking about, would be straight out of the Lexus. The 8-speed was what, I guess, 8-speed, 9-speed, 10-speed was what Lexuses were renowned for. So that it's quite good to see something, and I think that's under 50 grand.
Yeah, it's cheap and it's not bad
for value for money. And I know this car, Toyota was giving these cars away. The last generation of Camry, I went to a dealership last year. $27,000 drive away for a brand new Camry last year.
That's crazy.
That was and Orion. It was advertised at 32, but the dealers were giving them out at 29.
Wow. I mean, the last Orions were a good car.
Yeah,
Orions were a good car.
Orion were a good car from the very beginning.
They were, yeah.
And
they didn't sell because I guess the perception being front wheel drive.
Yeah.
But having said that,
they were quick.
They were quicker than Falcons and Commodores. Mm. Well, put it this way: the newly developed 3.5 litre. So I don't know if it's the same engine or adapted from the previous 2GR. It's got 224 kilowatts and 362 newton meters.
So where is that sending the power? Rear,
front wheels.
Front
wheels. Which is power 12% up on the previous Orion, and 8.9 liters per 100 fuel economy. But the company that test drove it averaged 9.2.
That's not bad. 8.9 versus 9.2. I
mean, for a 3.5 litre V6 with 224 kilowatts, that's not bad at all. It's got developed by a new variable valve timing system. It's called VVT-IW, which is W stands for wide adjustment range.
Okay.
Rightio. 0 to 100.
6 seconds.
It's about that. Yeah. Let me just find the stat.
That's pretty...
You know that you quickly mentioned, a wide range of the valve timing adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been any progress on the? I think it was the Koenigsegg trademark where they were doing the camless valves.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about that since then.
It's funny you mentioned Koenigsegg, and I don't have a comment about the valves, but I saw a video of the Chiron.
Yeah.
The Bugatti Chiron. So, they did the 0 to 400 and 0.
Yeah.
So it was like 42 seconds a week, and it says world record. A week later, Koenigsegg does it in like 33 seconds or whatever.
Come at us, bro.
Exactly, come at us. Have you guys seen that doco on Koenigsegg?
No. They're an interesting company.
They are, look, as a hypercar, I would have one over any other, and I still haven't seen a single one in the country.
Yeah, neither have I, actually. I've never seen one personally.
I've never seen one in person, but that company, anyway, they had a really, really, like Tesla's having now, they had a near-death experience. And if you haven't seen the doco, look it up, just Koenigsegg story.
Yeah.
And it's a 45-minute doco on YouTube or whatever. But the guy, Mr. Koenigsegg,
Christian von Koenigsegg.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Very cool what he does. They push the boundaries on what design should be, what power should be, and all the rest of it.
And when you see him, like in at least one of the documentaries I've seen, he's actually in there fiddling around with things. Actually,
he's
like
building
building things. Whereas you couldn't, the CEO of McLaren, nice guy and everything. He was lovely in his documentary, but he was just complaining about how things weren't right. Like the casters on the little trolleys weren't the right color. One tile was changed, so it wasn't from the same batch. It was different. Like he was complaining about stuff.
Complaining about trivials.
Whereas Christian is like doing the building. He's like in there.
Yeah.
It is a much smaller company, but it's awesome to see that the CEO is actually in there.
I mean, you would be if you're charging over $1 million for your car.
Well, but look,
they're like $3 million, aren't they?
I don't know. They'll definitely be up there. But the thing is, the people. I want to know who the buyers are. Like
Arabian princes.
Yes, brother. You come to the country. We have plenty of Koenigsegg.
Koenigsegg.
We've got a Kuwait. We'll see them lined up.
Yeah, that's it.
Dude,
The
honestly,
Gulf countries. That's where they're at. and that's not to be. I'm not pulling any racist things. It's just. Once, as we discussed, they're like $2.5 million to $3 million for a car without the taxes.
So, quick question before we finish up: Chiron versus Koenigsegg Agera R.
Agera, hands down.
Yeah, that's not
Same
a question.
Agera R.
Yeah, I mean, Agera is like, Bugatti's like just a show-off car, whereas the actual Koenigsegg can actually go around and can actually
and they're actually
perform. I mean, the Bugatti can as well, but this car's just made for that.
But it's environmentally friendly because doesn't it run on it's biodiesel, a biofuel.
It can run an E100.
Yeah.
I know that.
Oh,
So
there you
they
go.
can run a
Because
biofuel.
they sell in Brazil as well. That's the other place you find them. Where the
True
drug
hustle.
lords are at.
True hustle, true connections.
The legit connections right there. Well, just before we end up, I found out about the 0 to 100. 6.5 seconds for a V6 Camry.
Pretty good.
Not bad for
We got
front-wheel
test drive
drive.
one.
Yeah, I definitely want to test drive. Hopefully they bring back the manual because I remember manual V6 Camrys back in the day used to hammer. They looked like crap, but they used to hammer. So that is something we want to look forward to. Look, we are out of time. This has been CarTorque with Matty J. Tune in on Sunday night on our Facebook page. Or if you've missed any of our previous episodes, they are up on our Facebook page and up on shoutengine.com or anywhere you get your podcasting app. Our Facebook page is CarTorque, TORQUE, with Matty J. Give it a like and share. We're also on iTunes as well, so if you prefer to get on there, subscribe, rate, and review. And be sure to give us a share and put us a comment on there. Get us some more views and more recognition, so we can get some test driving some cars. Quick plugs, guys.
Man vs. Movies every Tuesday 6 p.m. 98.9 Northwest FM. Like and share the Man vs. Movies Facebook page, and you can find the previous episodes on iTunes, Shout Engine, or on your regular podcasting app.
Car Loop. If anyone you guys know that needs a new car or is looking for something, needs a bit of a hand,
Needs
doesn't
free
want to
advice.
deal dealers, free advice. Get in touch with us. We're on facebook.com/carloopau or carloop.com.au.
How many plugs?
No, I think
Are you going to give me one of your famous lines? Just be good to
Solutions.
just-
this Sunday will be our 100th podcast. Yes. Well,
It will be our 99th, but I'll make it our 100th because it's a Sunday night, so we can fit more people in there and stuff. So I'm going to rearrange.
Technically, you didn't record the first episode.
No, yeah. So technically,
it'll be episode 99 on the podcast, but it'll be the 100th episode that he's done.
Yeah,
actual 100. Yeah.
But
so
I'll
tune into that on Sunday.
Yeah. So it's thinking what we should do something really cool for it. I think we should do some live Mario Kart or something.
Oh, that would be cool.
And just talk cars while we play and. Similar to what Mighty Car ones do with the Unicorn circuit. So
cool.
I think that'll be a bit of fun. So you got any line to head us out on, Alan? Just be good to each other.
Yeah, just be good to each other. That'll work.
Yeah, and don't look at the budget.
Yes. Is it out?
I've been looking it up. It's really sad.
We're screwed.
Well, hang on.
Speak for yourself if you're not a hustler.
Cool.
Well, look, this has been CarTorque with Matty J. Tune in next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Also, give Dr. Rock Show some love on a Monday night for your pleasure. Really good listening. Play some really awesome music. And on his show with his mate Fitzy on a Thursday night, the Thursday Waffle, they told dad jokes, which is what everyone loves a dad joke. So tune into that. Giving some Dr. Rock some love. This has been CarTorque with Matty J. Thanks, gents, for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks,
It was a pleasure.
Take it easy.
This is professional radio, gentlemen.
And it's front-wheel drive.
Scotty, have you got anyone you want to thank?
Just myself.
And now we do the after hours. Dun, dun, dun.
Gentlemen, what would you go for?
Dacia Sandero.
Okay, and because it's not a supercar.
But it is.
It's not.
Automotive perfection comes in the form of two letters, A and U.
Long live my LTD!